Hey engineers, this is Mr. Hernandez, and in this video, we're going to go over your new lesson. In this lesson, there's some bad news. You're only going to have 1 week to work on it, but the good news is that it's a lot shorter than the other ones, and you're only going to have 1 week so you don't have to do engineering work over spring break. So you guys will be free and clear if you just go ahead and turn this in on Friday. Um, Now, because this is going to be short, let's not waste any time. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So this is called Design Your Dream Room Part 1.5, and in this one, our main objective is just to design a door. Now, last time you designed the layout of the room and you put a hole in the wall where a door can fit. Now we're going to build that door and we're going to place that door right into that space. So coming down here, we have just the measurements that you guys calculated for the door last time. So this is the size that the door is going to be. Do a quick recap of the instructions here. So first, we're going to start a new design in Tinkercad. So it's going to be a separate design from the room. We're going to model it according to the 2% scale dimensions, so these right here. Then we're going to add a doorknob to it, and from there you can add your own details like a window in the door or even an entrance sign. Then you're going to screenshot the door and place it here. Then I'm going to show you how to add the door to your shapes collection. And then we're going to take that door, put it in the shapes collection, and then bring it over to the room that you guys made. I'm going to fit the door into the opening. So let's go jump into Tinkercad now. And in Tinkercad, you're going to start a brand new design. And I'm just going to name this design door. All right. So now I'm going to make this room or make this door according to the dimensions. So this is going to be 18.3 millimeters wide by 0.915 millimeters thick and 40.6 millimeters tall. So there is the door, and from here you can then start changing the color. I'm going to make mine white. And the next thing that we need to do is make the doorknob. So there are no hard and fast rules for this. I'm just going to show you guys one method that I like, but you can feel free to design this your own way. So I'm going to start with a sphere. I'm going to drag this out, and I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to make it kind of squished. I'm going to make it only 2 millimeters in diameter. So you can see it's now a much smaller sphere here. But from here, I'm actually going to squish it down even more. So I'm going to make it asymmetric by making this side only, let's go with only 1. You can see now it's kind of squished down. That's my doorknob shape. And now I need to make a handle. And for that, I'm going to use a cylinder. I'm going to flip it on its side. And I'm going to shrink this one way down. So its diameter is only going to be 0.5 in both directions, and then the length is only going to be 1. All right, so obviously that's way down there here. So I'm going to click on this and click on this, and I'm going to align them both vertically and horizontally. I'm actually going to drag this out to the edge. All right, so the alignment's a little bit off there. There we go. Okay, so now I just need to separate these a little bit, like that. So the cylinder then is sort of the axle that the doorknob rotates on. So I'm going to group these two together. I'm going to change their color. I want to have a kind of brass or bronze looking doorknob. That's about as close as I can get. And from here, it is just a matter of attaching this to the door. So I'm using the arrow keys to get this lined up here. You can use the align tool as well. We're just going to position this on the door in a place that makes sense. So again, no super hard and fast rules here. I'm just shooting for about halfway up the door right now. And then I am going to group these together. And when you group them, there is an option here. You click on color, and you can actually pick multicolor. So now they're still grouped, but it respects the original color of the doorknob. So that's pretty good so far. And this would be totally acceptable, but I want to show you guys a few more things that you can do to add some detail to this. So we can use the text tool in order to add a label to this. So I'm going to drag this out right now. I'm going to rotate this so that it's standing up and facing the right direction. And then I'm going to label this room. So I'm just going to label this entrance. Actually, no, I'm going to label this as the board gaming room. So there's the word board. I'm going to drag that up. And then below it, I'm going to add the word games. And then it's just time to center them and set the scaling. So obviously they're kind of stepping on each other right now. So I'm going to move that up. And now I'm going to group them. And finally, I'm going to shrink them down so that they fit on the door. So I know that the door is about 18 millimeters wide. So I'm going to shrink this down to about 15 millimeters wide. And then I'm going to shrink it down vertically until it looks like it makes sense. That seems about fine. And obviously I don't want that to be stuck to the door. So I'm going to shrink down this so that it's just 0.5 millimeters thick. So now, just like with the doorknob, I can use the align tool to put that on the front. And then I can just position this right on top. Be careful with which parts you're clicking on. Now, just to make this a little bit cleaner, I'm going to use the align tool to center that. Okay, so that's how I would add a label to this. You can also use the hole tool or the holes in order to add like windows through it. There are some doors that have windows on the top. And you can also, if you're careful, you can use the hole tool in a slightly different way as well. So I'm going to show you how you can add details and texture to the door if you want to. So I'm just going to show you guys as an example here. So these dimensions aren't going to be super perfect. Let's go ahead and make this just 5 millimeters wide. Make it very, very, very thin. So it's only going to be 0.2 millimeters thick. And as far as height, I'm going to keep that at 20. So what I'm going to do here is align this with the door right on the front, like that. And then I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. I'm going to make a copy of it. Now, because these are on the door, and you can see with the doorknob, I'm actually going to have to be a little bit careful here because the doorknob sticks out. Now ungroup that and bring this back a little bit. So because these aren't going to go all the way through the door, they can sit on the front of it. And when I join them, they're going to remove just a little bit of material from the door. You can see it right here. So it's not cut all the way through, it's just enough to add some texture and some detail to it. And you can obviously play around with that. Maybe you want to replicate the way that your door looks. Maybe you want to put a design on there. You could even do the same thing with the text. You turn the text into a hole and have them kind of engraved in the door. Just to clarify, all the labels and all the details, those are bonus. Those are for you making it look the way you want it to look. What this door really needs is just the physical door and the doorknob. So it's okay to stop right there if you don't have time. No matter what, at this point, you're going to take a snip of this door, and we're going to add this to the document in this space, and then we're going to come back to Tinkercad. I'm going to go over to the shapes collection. I'm going to add this shape to our shapes collection. I'm just going to name this door, and that means that we can go back to Tinkercad, back to the main page in Tinkercad, that is. I'm going to open up the dream room once again. Now, where I have that entrance, or just the opening for the door, I can go ahead and fill that in with the door itself. So then it's just a matter of quickly rotating this into position. If you remember, we had to raise this up by 2 millimeters so the door doesn't go all the way through. And because we're not aligning it with the whole room, we can't use the align tool here, but I can still position it like that. And just like that, the dream room has an actual doorway. So this would be the final screenshot. You take a snip of this, showing the door attached to your room. At that point, you're done. Just be careful that you put everything in the right place. So this is going to go down here. There's our door by itself. There's our door attached to the room, and that's it. Hopefully this was a quick lesson for you guys. Like I said, if you turned it in by Friday, you won't have any work over spring break, and so you'll have a clean slate. You'll be able to enjoy that vacation. If I don't see you guys at all, I hope that you guys enjoy your break, take that time to relax and really recharge, and just enjoy some time with your family. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the other side.